Will the India alliance fail the nation? Will they belie the expectations raised in the minds of people right across the country? Welcome, Swagatham, Vanakkam. Going by the evidence of 2024 general elections, it's very clear that the people of India would want to repose their faith in this new alliance projected to be an alternative of the BJP led political bloc. And they want to do so because they are in substantial disagreement with the spirit and culture of what they propose under the broad, loose category of Naya Bharat. And they would rather stay true and loyal to the old dream, the India of our dreams, as envisioned by the champions of our freedom and the architects of our constitution. Now, as Rahul Gandhi has been saying repeatedly, the fight against the hijacking of India along uncharted lines, unpredictable ways, can only be a spiritual fight. The resources for making a difference in this context needs to be found in the moral, ethical, spiritual context, which I believe is the reason why he is trying to counterpoint the ideology of hate with the discipline of love and tolerance, etc. And going by Mahatma Gandhi's role model, this is clearly a spiritual mission, though undertaken in the context of politics. And Gandhiji's most noticeable challenge to humanity at large, not merely to Indians, is the question whether or not politics can be integrated with spirituality, or politics should be envisioned or thought of, practiced as the art of the possible, which very soon morphs itself into the post-truth politics. Now, if the alternative to what BJP and its allies try to sponsor, try to realize for India in the coming years is to be realized, can only be done by a coalition of forces that is sincerely, unwaveringly, and firmly committed to an alternate vision, an alternate discipline, and an alternate set of goals for India. And therefore, whenever Rahul Gandhi states that his is an ideological battle, and what's in progress in India is an ongoing struggle, an ongoing contestation between two completely incompatible visions for India, I attach a lot of significance to it, and I see the historical logic at work in this. But where I have a problem, and I'm sure many people like me will have a problem, is that when it comes to the brass tacks, when it comes to the nuts and bolts of the political process, something seems to be lacking, and it is increasingly the case that the kind of cohesion that this coalition of political forces should exemplify to the nation at large, if they are to command the trust and respect of the people, that cohesion does not at this point in time seem very convincing. I don't know if I'm being prejudiced in this respect, but I have to say that I'm beginning to be concerned. In order to be clear, let me take a couple of examples. Look at the situation in Haryana. The Haryana election is going to be crucial, if not in quantitative terms, certainly in qualitative terms. If the India coalition could have held its ground, contested as one coherent political bloc, and showed the impact of it in terms of electoral outcomes in the Haryana elections, it would have been a tremendous shot in the arm for the India alliance, or Indi alliance if you are a particularist for details. But unfortunately, that is not the case. There, Congress and AAP, the two members of the Indi alliance, are fighting against each other. And no attempt made to justify this or to excuse this inability to accommodate each other will convince me. I don't know about others. I have to say that I'm sorely disappointed. This is not merely a question of winning or losing the elections. It's a question of not being able to sustain one's own credibility in terms of what one has professed and claimed for oneself in the immediate past. It's not in the distant past. Take the second case, that of Maharashtra. Already signs are evident of stress and strain between or among the three constituent parts of the Indi alliance. Congress, unfortunately, both in Haryana and in Maharashtra, is showing a lack of grace that a party like the Congress should show to the junior partners in the coalition. After all, they are the only national constituent in the Indi alliance. Or to put it in terms of less satisfactory terminology, Congress is a big brother to the rest of the alliance members. And it's the duty of the stronger party, the bigger brother, to show some grace, some willingness to accommodate. For the simple reason that the smaller parties that have come by historical compulsion into this alliance will always harbor a secret anxiety, fear, apprehension that the big brother would someday gobble it up. Because that's what has happened to the regional parties that align to the BJP. They've all come to grief. So there is this genuine apprehension that within an alliance, there is the danger of the bigger element thriving gradually at the expense of the smaller elements. And clearly, no regional party would like to be assimilated and its distinct identity or its political niche eroded. Now, it is in this context that I miss the presence of Rahul Gandhi in India at this crucial point in time. In one of my earlier videos, I expressed my disapproval of Rahul Gandhi making a prolonged overseas jaunt trip at this time. I'm not saying that as a leader of the opposition, he should not visit other countries. No, it's part of his work. Leader of the opposition, like the Prime Minister of the country, has to be an agent and ambassador of goodwill for India overseas, and therefore it makes good sense that he visits other countries, interacts with world leaders, projects a certain image of the country, which is desperately needed at this time. But in politics, the sense of time is crucial. This is the time Rahul Gandhi should have been in India, playing an active role in shoring up the unity of the opposition parties, the Indi alliance, making sure that the alliance worked electorally in Haryana, facilitating the kind of give and take that is necessary if a coalition is to work, making sure that there are no stress and strains in Maharashtra, because after all, the eyes of the nation are focused on the outcomes of these elections. And I'm sure that if he were here, the outcome would have been different, because after all, he is far more committed to pan-Indian opposition unity than any other Congress leader is. Unfortunately, the Congress is, I dare say, bedeviled by the baggage of various regional leaders, and I have to say some very good for nothing regional leaders, who are so selfish that they cannot look beyond their noses. And therefore, when they look at electoral adjustments, they wouldn't see in terms of the big picture, the national picture. They would only see in terms of their own share of the cake. A clear example is what happened in Delhi. P.C. Chakko was in charge of Delhi from the Congress side. And the man of good political sense that he was, he tried his level best to effect an electoral alliance with the Aam Aadmi Party in 2019. But unfortunately, Sheila Dikshit and her son, Sheila Dikshit is no more, but her son is still around, creating enough of stupid noises and often talking the sense of which not even he can understand. And Sheila Dikshit played such a terrible role, retrograde, disruptive role, and frustrated P.C. Chakko's effort with which Rahul Gandhi was in sympathy. But unfortunately, because of the standing of Sheila Dikshit within the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi could not go against her stubborn, obstinate will. And Sheila Dikshit, of course, bore serious grudges against Kejriwal because he dared to speak about her corruption in public, and I'm totally convinced that Sheila Dikshit was corrupt. Anyone who knows how Commonwealth 2010 was organized, the role played by the then Chief Minister of Delhi, Sheila Dikshit, and in particular her son, knows that they were largely responsible for Commonwealth Games 2010 to be mired in allegations of corruption. And Kejriwal did talk about it, which incensed her. And due to personal grudges, the electoral fortunes and the political health of the Congress party vis-a-vis the national capital region of Delhi was completely ruined. The consequences are there for all to see. In that election, many of the Congress candidates lost their deposits. Can you imagine? Delhi was once ruled by the Congress. And Sheila Dikshit herself had 3 terms. And from that state, to reduce the party to the level of a majority of its candidates losing the deposits because of Sheila Dikshit's own stubbornness and obstinacy. It's very unfortunate. Now, this is a reality within the Congress, and in all states that this problem exists. And the only person who can lift the Congress party out of this most wretched, accursed state, the kind of willful blindness sustained by the selfishness of these chota local, regional or state level Congress leaders, who are only interested in perpetuating themselves, no matter whether the country goes to the dogs or the dogs come to the country. It doesn't matter to them. The only person within the Congress ranks who can rise above all this and actually believe in and stand for a pan-India vision is Rahul Gandhi. And at the most crucial moment he is missing from here. And that's the reason why I express my very substantial disappointment with his absence from India at this point in time. So, I say this again, the Congress is not playing the role it should play in sustaining the unity and the cohesion and the credibility of the India alliance. And if these forthcoming elections are not handled properly, the trust that the people of India have begun to repose on a large scale in this alliance will be dissipated. And if this opportunity is wasted, believe you me, the Congress is not going to get further opportunities. It is now make or break time. And I hope and pray that Rahul Gandhi at least understands the critical, climactic importance of this moment in the political evolution of India. And to see that the healthy electoral arrangements that should have been worked out in these crucial states are being disrupted by small-minded, mean-minded people who cannot lift their imagination and see the big picture of the destiny of India is extremely, extremely regrettable. And much of the blame, unfortunately, will come on Rahul Gandhi for the simple reason that he chose to be away from the scene when it mattered most. And cynics could even insinuate that Rahul Gandhi timed his overseas visits with an eye to avoiding the skirmish, which might have proved too much for him to handle. I wouldn't really endorse that argument. I think it is lack of, I think, political experience, which is inexcusable. I'm not making a brief for Rahul Gandhi. I think it's inexcusable. It's very unfortunate, and it could prove very costly. I sincerely hope it doesn't, but it could prove very costly. And these are instances that would create long-term problems for the Congress Party and the India Alliance. And unless and until all the constituent parts of the India Alliance forget their little agendas and identify themselves wholeheartedly, sincerely and passionately with this grand mission of providing a credible and superlative alternative to whatever is on offer from the opposite camp, led and spearheaded by the BJP, I think it's bad news for India as a whole. Not merely for the India Alliance, but India as a country, the India of our dreams. Thank you. Jai Hind.